Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for April 16th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 106. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, who is actually, we're all in a time machine going back a day because mayoral duties kept me from doing the show as I guess my contract requires me. I don't know. Anyway, we normally talk about 10 articles, and this is what we're going to be talking about. New pollen replacing food, super sheer earthquake in Burma, all their eggs in one basket, didn't work out, rent a shirt, Patreon live streaming, Zoom was down, now what, ghastly airships in Minecraft, electricity-free refrigerators, and for those who don't know, no, there's no D. And Spotify was down too. Now, what else? Glad I have coffee. And Google sunsets country-specific search domains. All of that and more, all powered by ohmtown.com. So go over there and hang out, and then come over here when we go live and hang out and talk to us about all the news that you have discussed or heard or seen or whatever at ohmtown.com. And again, everything is powered by. So the first one is free. I'm putting the command to draw out all of the articles from Omatron before I even introduce the sentient AI from the future. Wait. There you go. First one's free. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Background music seems to have... It got
Trailed
really
off.
quiet. Let me just hurry up. There we go. Hello again, sentient AI. Glad you could make it.
Glad to be here.
You ready to get into the news? We're not even going to do any preamble. We're going to just charge headlong into the bees. So,
well, you shouldn't do that, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have somebody in my world that says even when you're as emotionally stunted as I am, even being stung by a bee is favorable. So, like, they're like, yay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, this first article, and the reason why I selected this is mainly because I just don't understand how anybody knows, but let's do this. New pollen replacing food for honeybees brings hope for survival.
Yeah, there's so many layers to unpack here. Who's hoping?
I just don't get it. Scientists have unveiled a new food source designed to sustain honeybee colonies indefinitely without natural pollen. But if we don't have natural pollen, we, as in the plurality,
have a much bigger problem.
We got a massively big problem. So I'm just flabbergasted by this.
Also, if we don't have bees, we have a major problem.
I mean, it's all hand in hand. Yeah, it's all tied together. But this looks like it's Soylent Green kind of. It's the stuff from Snowpiercer. The little chunk of whatever biomass that they had, which was, I'm not sure what it was all made from, but apparently it was nutrient dense. And Snowpiercer is the
sequel to Willy Wonka.
And the Chocolate Factory, which is the sequel to Wonka. So you get the full-on thing of that. Anyway, they deny it, but I am going to make sure that that's canon forever. So Washington State University put this article together. It's over at phys.org. And yeah, you can't see it unless you're watching the stream. Or you just go over to phys.org and do a search for pollen food honeybees. And it looks like a slab of meat without any fat in it.
I was thinking it looks like a piece of like yeah, meat or like beeswax or something. Or like
But it's
candle
red.
wax. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's creepy red. So, published in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B? It's only the letter B, though, not BE. It's just the letter B.
Is the
The research
society
from
named B?
it, yeah, there's a different paper, or there's a different Proceedings of the Royal Society. There is another. We've talked about this before.
Oh, I know we have.
Yeah. So the research from Washington State University and APIX or Apex Biosciences NV in Wingen, Belgium, details successful trials where nutritionally stressed colonies deployed for commercial crop pollination in Washington State thrived on the new food source. Says it resembles the man-made diets fed to livestock and pets all their lives, contains all the nutrients honeybees need. Apparently, we know what honeybees need. It's the honeybees' knees need.
Right. But do we? And then what happens to the flowers not being pollinated?
Yeah, they have there's nothing emergent from them that says, you know what, we need to go and pollinate and bring back and make honey and all of that kind of stuff. So they're not pollinating anything anymore because they're getting fat on this.
Right. This is like the equivalent of carbs or something.
Yeah, it's going to be fat honeybees and they're just going to be sitting around playing games and stuff, right?
Well, that sounds funny. That's pretty alarming.
The newly developed food source resembles human power bars. These are placed directly into honeybee colonies where young bees process and distribute the essential nutrients to larvae and adult bees. The breakthrough addresses one of the growing challenges faced by honeybees: lack of motivation to go out and pollinate things. They just wake up and go, why? You know, why? Look around. Look around. Actually, they say lack of adequate nutrition in their environment. Flowers, go.
Yeah, but there aren't enough flowers because everything's been paved over.
Oh, that's not possible. It's not like the whole world is paved over. The United States alone has a massive amount of unadulterated space.
Yes, but if the bees live somewhere and the nearest open space is, 50 miles away, they're not commuting that far to go find a flower.
Yeah, bee spaces are being gentrified. Yes, I get it. Sure. I don't buy into this. Anyway, changes in land use, urban expansion, the extreme weather all negatively impact nutrition for honeybees and other pollinators, is what it says here. Mentioned by Brandon Hopkins, P.F. Thurber Endowed Distinguished Professor of Pollinator Ecology at WSU and co-author of the paper titled "When You're a Hammer, All You See Are Nails." Just kidding. I love bees, but come on.
Yes, and we've talked about them in previous articles. There is a serious crisis with honeybees.
But it's not because they're not getting nutrition. It's because there is a mite that's killing colonies.
Yeah, that's true.
So now this is the new boogeyman that's going to be scaring everybody together. Okay, so what is the carbon footprint of putting this together?
Well, that's a good question.
So honeybees are generalists and do not get all of their nutrition from a single source. They need variety in their diet to survive, but find it increasingly difficult to find the continuous supply of pollen. But I don't quite understand. What is it that... maybe the bees are in the wrong spot that are being analyzed, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. The reported scientific work shows in commercial field conditions that providing nutritionally stressed colonies with their pollen replacing feed results in a major measurable step change in colony health compared to current best practices. Our product has the potential to change the way honeybees are managed. Yeah, because you're using honeybees as a commercial product to pollinate other things. So they're out of their environment and they're stressed because they're not in their natural environment and so on and so forth. But if you were leaving them in their natural environment and treating them as wild animals and not as a commercial labor force, maybe they would be making their honey just like everybody else, like all the rest of the natural bees out there. But that's what they're talking about, our nutritionally stressed colonies, because it says in commercial field conditions, which are not natural to the honeybee existence. Now, can they be ported around in these boxes and pollinate things? Yeah, sure. But it's not that nature is suddenly throwing bees to the wild and ruining everything. It's an earthquake in ohmTown.
Right. Things are topsy-turvy in the bee world.
Yeah. See, they mention the reported scientific work shows in commercial field conditions that providing nutritionally stressed colonies. Well, they're nutritionally stressed because they're sitting in Manhattan instead of in the wilds of Ohio.
They're nutritionally stressed because the beekeeper keeps showing up in all that garb. And if you're a bee, maybe a beekeeper is kind of scary.
Yep. Everything. There's a book when I was a kid I read called Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And one of the stories is about a spider that lands on a human and freaks out because they're like, oh my God, I'm on a human. Meanwhile, the human is sitting there going, oh my God, I've got a spider on me. That's kind of what this is. There's a bee that's sitting there going, crap. People in the big white suits and the helmet thingy, and I can't sting them. It's not worth it. I'm going to die.
Right, so, they're back. Oh, no.
Yeah. So second, the WSU team with leading honeybee and field expertise. And third, leading beekeepers in California together with extension teams. They made large-scale and science-based field testing of feeds possible, says paper co-author Anne-Marie Favell. Managed that third aspect, which this whole paragraph reads so chunky.
Oddly.
But I wanted to give credit where credit is due. Colonies fed with this isofucosterol enriched food survived an entire season without pollen access, while those without it experienced severe declines, including reduced larval production, adult paralysis, which is what I suffer when I wake up in the morning, and colony collapse, which colony collapse is basically a catch-all phrase for a colony that just dies off suddenly. But all of the colony collapse that anybody's ever talked about is because of some mite that's causing it.
Right, but I don't know if that's the only cause, but we've definitely seen that featured.
Right. So basically, this is like a steroid for bees, which it turns me off to the idea that they're being pumped full of this instead of just being natural bees. They go out and wiggle your butt on flowers and then go wiggle your butt on some other flowers and bring back your pollen, turn it into honey, make your little wax nests and be done with it. But now we're going to be tinkering around with bee food. Let's be serious here. You don't think we're going to get
super strong bees now instead of the fat bees?
They say they're going to be all thick bees. Oh, we're fat shaming bees now. So some beekeepers don't pollinate blueberries anymore because colonies suffer or die and the pollination fees don't cover the losses. But why is that? Blueberry pollen isn't very nutritious for honeybees and they aren't adapted well to pollinating that crop. Well then, what has been pollinating them? What has been pollinating blueberries? They've been in existence.
That's a good question. One of life's mysteries.
Who knows? Nobody knows why. Okay,
I
so
think
we have to figure
go
out.
to a high blueberry production area and see what's going on.
And I think that I should carry a bucket, and any ripe blueberries I should either consume or put in the bucket for later consumption. Because you don't want to burden the bees with flying over to a ripe blueberry and going, oh, I spent so much energy going to this ripe blueberry. Now I have to
That's
pedal
right. You're
my
trying to do the bees a favor and save them some more,
eliminating.
particularly if they're
Right.
nutritionally
Exactly.
stressed.
I don't want them nutritionally stressed, and I don't want to be nutritionally stressed. So give me those antioxidants. You want to keep moving?
Sounds good.
Like thick bees wiggle our butts over to the Technology Today channel over at ohmtown.com. Super shear earthquake in Burma shifted ground 20 feet. Satellites captured it all, and that's stressing the bees out in Washington.
It could be.
A massive 7.7 earthquake and powerful aftershock struck near Mandalay, Burma, shaking buildings and damaging infrastructure as far as Bangkok. Satellite imagery from NASA and European Space Agency revealed dramatic ground shifts of over 6 meters caused by strike-slip movement along the Sagaing, Sagaing fault. Watch, it's a typo and it's sagging. Scientists believe the quake may have been a rare super shear because basically it ripped everything apart. I don't think this is the actual. This just looks like a graphic. It's from SciTech Daily though. SciTechDaily.com. I don't know who put this together, but it's pretty cool. It's like this embodiment of earthquake opening up the ground. Satellite imagery from NASA and the European Space Agency revealed dramatic ground shifts of over 6 meters caused by strike-slip movement along the Sagaing fault. Scientists believe the quake may have been a rare super shear event where rupture speed outpaces seismic waves, possibly explaining the widespread destruction. Interesting. So it just like opened up a pit to hell.
Right. It's like too much movement all at the same time.
Yeah, to better understand the ground movement, scientists at NASA's JPL used radar and optical satellite data. Their analysis showed dramatic shifts in the landscape, with some areas along the fault moving 10 feet in opposite directions, over 3 meters, adding up to more than 6 meters or nearly 20 feet of total displacement in places. In the map below, red pixels indicate northward motion, while blue pixels show southward. So... wait.
Yeah, down. I mean, it's
Blue
primarily concentrated in the middle.
South? Oh, so yeah, it shifted this way, but the blue up here shifted this way down. Up here.
Yeah, that's also interesting.
Shifting down into the red that's going up. So it went like that. Kind of weird, right? I don't know. But they actually
maybe
demarcate
that's where the shape of the fault is or something.
Yeah, maybe like right along this, it's going under as well. I don't know, but they really delineate a line, a hard line of where this fault is kind of bisecting Sagaing and Mandalay. But it's pretty fascinating that they follow this line all the way south.
I don't think I've seen this type of graphic for other earthquakes.
No. Seems like it might be new technology, but we'll have to look into it a little bit more. It's pretty fascinating. I love this stuff. But you can actually see a white line that looks like it might be a river or a stream or something like that that's going right into Sagaing and Mandalay. You can see that white line, and there's others that are like that too over here, right? Those look like rivers, right? So this might be where the faults are actually dipping down because they like collapse against each other.
Maybe they make a basin or something.
Yeah, and the creek. So like maybe a lot of creeks might be, or I should say, wherever there's a fault, there could be a river that flows into it. I don't know. But that one is really, it's quite fascinating to see that river flowing right into the shear line. There's more over here. It's a history of major quakes along the Sagaing Fault and this rare and dangerous phenomenon. Preliminary analysis of the rupture by other scientists found that in addition to being especially long, it was also remarkably fast, suggesting that it may have been a rare super shear earthquake. In these events, the slip along the fault lines moves faster than the seismic waves it produces, which can concentrate seismic energy ahead of the rupture. The effect may exacerbate the quake's destructive forces and might be a part of the reason why the recent events caused so much damage so far from the epicenters. So it's like going in front of the actual wave that might dissipate energy out.
Right. I did look at the map, and I think your theory is correct. There's quite a bit of kind of like fractured rivers in that area, and some of them look more substantial, so maybe that accounts for that area we were looking at.
Yeah, interesting. Pretty cool. Go over and check this article out, and then come on back and talk to us about it. So let's keep hustling. This next article, we are in a time machine, so we have to hurry up and get done. Otherwise, we're going to be like thrown off, and yeah, you don't want to be stuck in time for any amount of time. That quantum entanglement really messes with your head.
No matter how much you think you do.
Yeah, you never really want to.
Just watch Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, 10,000 years, supposedly. So can you imagine? 10,000? You'd be insane. So the next article is over in the Marvel Channel. A woman came to interview as a plate of eggs, but she didn't get the job. And this is why I tell people, don't put all of your career eggs in one basket.
Exactly. I mean, was she trying to be a breakfast chef?
Let's find out. They say I'm bringing brunch energy. So a British boss was left completely baffled after a Gen Z job seeker logged into her job interview looking like a breakfast plate. Not in a figurative, I'm bringing brunch energy kind of way, in a literal cartoon filter, sunny side up and toast on the cheeks kind of way. The clip, which has gone viral, was posted by Aidan Kramer, a co-founder of AI Apply, I guess? AI Apply?
AI Apply.
AI Apply, which that might actually, I don't know. So it's an app that helps people land jobs using AI to craft cover letters and prep for interviews. Let that sink in. This woman was applying for work for a company that helps people get hired while dressed virtually as a brunch entree. This is not her.
Was one of the tips something like stand out, do something unique? Like, I feel like somebody set her up for failure.
Probably using their app. So Ashley Fike over at Vice.com put the article together. The clip says here, you know what? I'll play it. Oh, no. No. That's not the right thing. I don't know why it's doing that.
If you refresh, I think it'll bring up the original.
Oh.
I mean, that is a bit much.
Yeah, it turned her into an actual plate with eyes in the yolks of eggs, and her mouth is on the toast. And you can see the eyes and the toast, like the mouth on the toast. It's actually pretty amazing that it was functional like this, because it had dimensionality and then she turned into a strawberry too. Anyway, so CEO stunned after candidate shows up to interview as a plate of eggs.
That would
this
be
is why I don't
quite
click on anything.
Surprising, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's something more here.
I don't know if there is possibly more. So here's the bigger question. Why would anyone think that this is okay as a first impression? When did a job interview become a personal branding exercise in chaos? And at what point did "this is me, take it or leave it" overtake "put on your big girl pants and be professional"?
But
they
don't
say,
you
I'm
think
not sure
social media and everything, I mean, kind of play into this?
Well, I mean, if the Haktua girl can turn it into a career life-changing thing by being what everybody outside of Gen Z, I guess, would say vulgar behavior in public, right? Like, I thought all of that was hilarious until it turned into apparently like a life coach teachable moment in how to pivot from maybe being, I don't know, an hourly employee into a career in communication and going viral. Everybody loves a dumpster fire, which is one of the things that I talk about. I mean, it can be a real grind trying to get an online presence going and all of that kind of stuff without either having some weird shtick or some other affect or whatever, you know? I mean, there was somebody here that used to dress up like a wizard, and all kinds of stuff. And there used to be somebody here, and by here, I mean on Twitch. There are people that kind of dress up as space cadet kind of things and all of this other
but that's
stuff.
like their online persona, but that's
It's
a
their
little
online
different
persona.
presumably than their real life persona. Maybe not.
But it gets attention and people watch, and it's an engaging personality. And that's what I tell people, you know, you can do whatever you want, but if you don't have a charismatic persona, if you don't have an engaging personality, people aren't going to really show up. And you have to consistently show up for extended periods of time, unless, again, you drag a whole population of people into the new platform, which we're going to end up talking about this right after this. There's Rent a Shirt, and then we're going to talk about Patreon here. So here they say, here's the bigger question, right? Sorry. Why would they think that this is okay? There's a difference between being authentic and being unserious. Filters might be fun for FaceTime with friends, like the the attorney. I can continue. I can assure you, I'm not a cat.
Yes.
Yeah. So, FaceTime with friends is one thing. If you're applying for a job, it says you're signaling whether or not someone would trust you with a paycheck. That's not really with a paycheck. You earn the paycheck, but do they trust you with their enterprise is really what it's about.
True, but I think it's more than that. I mean, when you see people that apply for gazillions of jobs and there's not enough jobs to be found, like, sadly, what is it, right? It's about standing out. And I'm not saying this was the way to do it, but I suspect some of the advice out there actually sent this person in the wrong direction. Now, maybe they were just not interested in the interview. Who knows what was going on behind the scenes? But
I think the better thing would have been, like, if you really hit it off with the interviewer, you could have said, hey, you know what? I learned a new trick with my technology, and then mash the button.
Exactly, which would have come across completely differently if they'd already established some sort of rapport or thought, hey, this is somebody that seems like they could do well in the workplace. They have a sense of humor.
Right.
Right, exactly like that. Thanks for demonstrating.
Hopefully it went back because I don't have my monitor on.
You're back to normal. Yeah. Not in eggs and toast.
Not eggs and toast. I can continue, Judge. I can assure you that I am not eggs and toast, or a baby eggs and toast. All right, let's keep going. We're running behind this next article, and this one is going to be really quick because I didn't log in. I just realized. So young people are making up to $36,000 a year renting their shirts and speakers.
Rental apps I don't really get the T-shirts, maybe the speakers.
I don't quite get. Well, see, I do, and I understand there's a context clue to this, but there's rental apps like Pickle and Utilize. Oh my God, Utilize. The thing about it, this has to be the anomaly. This is the one where somebody has turned it into an actual massive business.
Correct. They're like buying tons of stuff and renting a storage space or something. Like, that's a lot of money if you're renting out your T-shirts and your speakers.
It's essentially like a Temu Rent the Runway kind of a thing, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. Or like I don't know, this sounds kind of antiquated, but like rent an appliance kind of. I mean, they're bigger things people do rent from companies.
Yeah, I wanted to start up a business called Rent-A-Lens, but the domain never dropped, and I didn't want to have a spelling bee. And so eventually, guess what? A company bought Rent-A-Lens. Anyway, because I was really into photography for a period. And well, anyway, these Gen Zers are turning their closets and tools into extra cash. The article is over at Wired. Alana Klein put the article together, but I didn't log in, so I don't have access to the whole thing. But I've never heard of Pickle, and Pickle I've heard of by way of the game Pickle, like basically handball / tennis slash racquetball. But Utilize, I've never heard of, and it is such a Silicon Valley like trope meme kind of a thing for a name, because it's a hell of a spelling bee. But if people are making thousands of dollars renting their stuff out.
Exactly. Here, I can get no. I thought I had some access to it. And they make a comparison to other things that have been around for a while, right? Like Airbnb and Turo.
I've never even heard of Turo either.
Oh, yes. That's the one for renting out your car. But this is more, I think, like consumable type item. Not consumable, smaller items, it seems like.
How does the insurance work with renting out your car? Like full on, here's my car, and not going to.
It's kind of similar to. It's not identical. It's kind of similar to an Uber or Lyft, in that the company has some sort of insurance.
Wild
or whatever.
Yeah, pierce that veil real quick. All right. So yeah, there you go, folks. When you can't make ends meet, you basically lease your shirt. So your moneymaker is now you're renting your pants.
I wonder if you can make more in rent money than you paid for the item over time.
Over the long haul, I'm sure, right? There's a long tail to this, because if you buy $100 jeans and you're renting them out to people who don't or can't afford $100 jeans.
Right. How much are they going to pay? Like $10 or something?
$10. I don't know. Then somebody stains them and their $200 pants are now, crap. Anyway. Pretty fascinating, but I wanted to get on. Let's keep moving. So this next article is over in Non Sequitur News. So I went and logged into Patreon to see, because when I saw this, I was like, ooh, I can triple stream to another platform.
I was wondering if that would be possible when I saw this.
Yeah, for sure. And then the way that this works is most of the time, if you want to get somebody else or get more people to pay you for your show or whatever, you have to put it behind a paywall. Not everything has a paywall. Twitch doesn't have a paywall. YouTube doesn't have a conventional paywall. I guess you can bury it hidden, and if people pay for it, then you can link them to it. But now Patreon is getting live streaming, according to this article. Patreon is taking on Twitch with a new feature that lets creators offer live video streams directly on the platform. Can't get in. So the feature will be available starting this week, which is this week, to select creators, which is not this creator, in an early access test, and the company plans to roll it out more widely this summer. So it could be in time for
Summer of Stream.
The Summer of Stream, where I will be trying my damnedest to stream 8 hours a day at least. I'm talking about the news and hanging out and playing some games, but we'll see how many games, because I don't know. I feel like I'm undiagnosed ADD kind of a thing. So in this climate, you don't admit to anything ever. You could be literally on fire and somebody's like, you're on fire, and you're like, no, I'm not. No, you're on fire. No, I'm not. You're on fire. No. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, in the release, Patreon mentioned some features that creators can expect as we continue to refine the product. Creators who want to go live will be able to do so from Patreon's mobile app or on desktop, and they'll be able to choose if streams are available. The article is over at The Verge. I can't do any ASMR stuff. There's a shadow right there. What the heck is that? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sentient AI is saying, focus. Focus, Merwat, focus. But it's non sequitur. Anyway, Jay Peters over at The Verge put the article together. You'll be able to live stream videos directly on the platform, so no need to send your followers to Twitch. But...
well, maybe we can send them to all places.
Send them everywhere. And more to the point, get them everywhere. Because not everybody really enjoys the Twitch interface, and there is no long-form discussion. It's very ephemeral. It disappears every 60 days. YouTube is basically this anchor for long-term storage, and it has shorts, and its communication system is somewhat manageable. It's not pure chaos, really. It's two disjointed things as well. Live streaming is completely separate from the rest of the stuff, and so it gets really complex.
So I guess this will be live streaming only and not VOD.
It depends on how lucrative it is, because they'll be able to, I'm sure, ramp up storage. From what I've seen so far, though, only 100 megs worth, I think, of storage is available. But I'm not sure. So Patreon is taking on Twitch, is what they say, but it's taking on everybody else who is a streaming platform. They say that they'll offer live chat and moderation tools, and the platform will support third-party integration with popular streaming tools like OBS and Streamlabs, which, if they didn't do that,
Right,
it would have been
that would
DOA.
be dead on arrival.
Yeah. So Taylor, Adia Taylor, Patreon's spokesperson, says that thousands of creators will have access to the live streaming test. We're working with a diverse group of creators who have frequently used our existing community chat and video tools, as well as those who have used off-platform live video and were interested in unlocking new ways to bring it to their Patreon communities. So I guess I should have paid a little bit more attention to Patreon. I like you, Patreon. But I have a fear of commitment. And just kidding.
So do they.
Oh, yeah, so do they. You want to keep going? 2 out of our 10 articles are kind of non-starters, because even though we are in a time machine, we know what the future portends, and Zoom was down, which is almost tantamount to me being out of coffee.
Right.
Yeah, the end of the world as we know it. Zoom was suffering from, or wait, we're in the time machine. So Zoom is suffering from a major outage.
Right now on April 16th.
Right now. So as shown by data on Down Detector, the outage appeared to have started around 3 p.m. People all around my orbit were losing their freaking mind, and everybody was really, really, really regretful for this outage because they had to turn to Teams. And
you don't want to do that.
I would rather use a screwdriver to fix a cavity than Teams. Anyway, users all across Twitter were tweeting about the outage, and some were getting unable to connect error message. This actually, something happened with Discord as well, and something happened with Spotify, and supposedly some people got hit even on Teams. I don't know the full extent of it. Yeah, I stopped paying attention to it, and then couple that with the fact that in cybersecurity, CVE database maintenance has now lost funding. So anything that might have been related to this forensically is not going to get reported out if there was a flaw somewhere. But a lot of people are saying that this was nothing more than DNS glitches. I don't know how DNS glitches affect a plurality of people unless there is some source of DNS glitch.
Yeah, that seems a little...
It's more, to me, I like a good conspiracy, so I say that it was actually a firewall going up. That said, they say though they're able to open up a Zoom app on the Mac, they receive an error when they sign in, et cetera, et cetera. That's basically what is happening right now on Zoom. Now, the article is over at The Verge, and they changed their name of the title to Zoom is back following a major outage, because we're in a time machine and we know what the future portends.
But that was not the update when it was selected.
Yes, correct. And so the nearly 2-hour-long outage will have maybe been caused by a domain registry issue, except there was a whole lot of domains that were being hit by this, apparently. Maybe correlation is not causation. So Zoom's problem was different than Spotify's, which was different than Teams, which was different than
It seems like a lot of
Discord,
platforms having problems all at the same time.
just a coinkydink. Sorry. So it's still not clear what caused the issue, but a Reddit user named Tastes Like Owlbear, that's the name, mentioned that zoom.us domain may have been in a server hold. This happens when a domain is not activated in DNS, according to ICANN, making it completely inaccessible due to verification, fraud, or other security issues. Hence why I mentioned security. So they say now that the service has been restored. So again, the time machine is allowing us to talk about this stuff in the past from the future. We're not supposed to do this. The sentient AI has warned me that they cannot share any future information since they're from the future. But I mean, we can create this paradox kind of an issue. People could be trading on this stock right now because they know that it's going to come back, but they're buying on the dip. So when it comes back, the stock spikes, and then they can sell again and make money on the margin.
True,
Never mind.
but
Anyway,
we're reporting afterward.
Are we though? We're reporting.
I'm not sure. We're in that endless time loop.
It's a temporal turducken. Let's just move on. So the next article is over in Warcrafters. The newest Minecraft snapshot makes a Minecraft movie's giant gassed airships into an in-game reality, and I don't like anything about this, but I don't know. I guess some people get a kick out of it. The Minecraft movie, I like the idea of a Minecraft movie. By the way, it's like the Ohio State. The real name of Ohio State is yeah. A Minecraft movie pleasantly surprised them when they were mostly accurate depictions of how people play Minecraft, though some of its antics understandably stretched beyond what's currently possible in the game. One of those impossible antics is now very much possible in Minecraft's Java Minecraft Javas. There's two different kinds. The Java Edition's latest snapshot updates. Gassed airships are real and they have a lot of potential. So it started as April 8th snapshot, a preview of features coming to all Minecraft versions this summer, which introduced friendly flying gassed mounts. Normally,
so wait a second. This is coming from the movie to the game?
Yeah, apparently.
Not the usual direction.
So gas are normally spitting fireballs at people. They're not friendly, but you can actually befriend one. So Morgan Park over at PCGamer.com put the article together. Leashes and Happy Gas now let you create airships, like in a Minecraft movie, or dangle poor pigs over a cliff. According to this article by Morgan Park at PCGamer.com, there's a picture of it. Got a whole bunch of boats dangling from underneath a ghast. Bobacraft on Twitter put that picture together. Oh, it's Mojang. So it started with April 8th's snapshot. The Flying Mountain is already one of the biggest additions to vanilla Minecraft in years, but yesterday's snapshot added a cherry on top, upgraded leashes. Now leashes can bind two creatures together, just cause grapple hook style, and suspend them in the air. So if you also leash a Happy Gas to a boat to create an airship, a setup that looks similar in part to Minecraft movie, where Piglin soldiers chase Jack Black and friends across the skies, suspended on platforms under gas. Some gas. Got a whole bunch of boats. It's basically an inverted up, I guess, kind of thing.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, they should do one with balloons.
Oh, look at that. Everybody's doing it. Look, there's another one down there. But it's this. These boats are leashed to this ghast, and these boats are leashed to that set of boats, and it's all the way down. It's a bunch of grapples all the way down. Star Trek grapples. So it says this is 20 villagers. You can carry way more if you wanted to, says a YouTuber named Prowl8413. Under an image of a gassed boat ship daisy chained to 15 other boats in what now qualifies as the most precarious transportation method in all of Minecraft. and they're hanging from a fence, a whole bunch of pigs and cows. Look,
People are going
this is what.
bonkers for this, apparently.
Yeah, Minecraft is a lot of fun. It has zero real story to it, like compelling story to it. And you can speed run the hell out of that thing and just end your game real fast. But it's all about the rest of this. All of this creativity. It's amazing. I really want it to be higher resolution with more blocks, more destructibility. You can do that with mods.
More physics.
More physics. I don't want to chop a tree and it just hovers. I don't like that, but you can fix the physics with mods. Anyway, it says there's just one omission that players are already asking Mojang to remedy. Minecarts cannot be leashed together in the same way as boats or mobs, so the dream of functional trains in vanilla Minecraft is still just that for now. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm surprised they didn't allow that too.
Like put more than one minecart together. Can't do it. You have to push one, get into another one, push it, get into another one, push it. And so it's more like a toboggan kind of a thing.
Right.
One person at a time. All right, let's keep on going. We've got a few more articles and we're running really late. So this next article is over in Non Sequitur News. 3 teens invented a salt-powered refrigerator, no D, that doesn't need electricity. And they're building 200 of them for hospitals to use. So these 3 teens built a salt-powered fridge. They designed a mini refrigerator that cools itself with salt and doesn't require an outlet, and they're bringing it to hospitals to help transport medical supplies to rural areas without electricity. It uses salts that pull heat from their environments when they dissolve in water, and they won the 2025 Earth Prize of $12,500. Pretty cool.
Well, this is cool.
There.
I got out of bed this morning.
Yeah, I actually, my stomach is really bothering me today. So, and that's what really prevented me from building, a salt-powered refrigerator that doesn't need electricity.
Exactly.
Because it was high on my mind. Morgan McFall Johnson put this article together over at businessinsider.com. Dhruv Chaudhary, Mithran Ladania, Miradol Jain live in Indore, India, and all have parents working in medical fields. And the boys decided to try a salty refrigeration technique after hearing how challenging it was to bring COVID-19 vaccines to rural areas without electricity. Their invention apparently won them the Thermovault, or their invention called Thermovault won them the 2025 Earth Prize on Saturday. They only got $12,500, which is a lot of money if you weren't expecting $12,500.
True, but this is
the benefit of this,
life-changing. Yeah.
Right. I hope that they get a whole lot of other goodwill. I mean, there are billionaires out there that could have done this, but they didn't. It took 3 teenagers. So
right, to go, hey, we can figure out a solution to this problem.
Yeah, some salts can have a cooling effect when they're dissolved in water. And in fact, most salts actually keep water at a higher cooling temperature or cold temperature than non-salt waters, because when it gets too cold, water freezes, but high salinity salt water can be colder than freezing. So Chaudhary, Ladani, and Jane searched the internet, first compiling a list of about 150 salts that might work, then narrowing it down to 20 that seemed most efficient, and then they borrowed a lab in Indian Institutes of Technology to test those 20 or so, and to their disappointment, none of the salts cooled the water enough. They were back to square one. Their school teacher recommended trying 2 different salts, barium hydroxide octahydrate and ammonium chloride. That ammonium chloride alone is probably the big mover on this. This probably keeps it from exploding. I don't know. So while we did scour through the entire internet to find the best salt possible, we kind of just ended up back to our 9th grade science textbook. The trio says that they found ammonium chloride maintained temperatures of around 2 to 6 degrees Celsius, or about 35 to 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which is ideal for many vaccines, which is why I said ammonium chloride is probably the one that's the big mover here. Adding barium hydroxide octahydrate to the mix produced sub-zero Celsius temperatures, which is ideal for some other vaccines and sometimes for transplant organs. So now they have two different refrigeration options. That, though, is not... I'd have to look more into it, but if I recall correctly, this isn't something that you should kind of be noodling around with. But about 3 months later, they built a prototype and were testing it in local hospitals. So one advantage of ammonium chloride solution, the trio says, is it's reusable in the field without electricity. Rather, you can remove the salt from the box, boil away the water, collect the salt in its solid form, ready to dissolve in new water and produce its cooling effect all over again. You can recapture ammonium chloride minus some of its boil off stuff. But they don't seem to be talking about the other one.
Well, it seems like that's what... Well, no, they're talking about both of them. You mix
Not
them
in this.
together, I think.
Well, ammonium chloride, advantage of the ammonium chloride solution, they say. But
they talked
what?
about adding it. I think they're referring to the whole thing.
Maybe the whole thing, and it's a smaller amount that allows it to chill down further. Hold on a second. I'm going to do this live. I might as well. Do we have a little bit of time for it? Probably. We don't? We do. Yeah.
You said we were behind schedule.
We are, but doggone it. I'll do it my way. Okay, we'll just go on. Pretty cool. Congratulations. All right, so the other article, time machine. We know the future because we were in the time machine. While we have knowledge of the future, y'all don't. But we're going to give you this little tidbit because it's not really going to impact anything except maybe for stockbroker movers and shakers out there, maybe politicians. So Non Sequitur News is where this next article is. Spotify is down for thousands of users. Company denies that it's been hacked. You won't read about this in a CVE database. Thousands of Spotify users reported problems using the streaming music app on Wednesday, the same time that everybody else is running into problems all over the place.
Right, just coincidentally.
It's just coinkydink. I mean, it happens, right? Right? Somebody falls down a flight of stairs and my arms are outstretched. It was a coincidence that they fell. Right? I was trying to catch them by pushing them. I mean, I was trying to catch them. That last part was just an innocent flub. Well, anyway, Mary Cunningham over at CBSNews.com, which is kind of a rare source of late.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Money Watch. But anyway, this is not, by the way, Mary Cunningham. Just want to make it abundantly clear.
Sabrina Carpenter.
That's Sabrina Carpenter? All right. Is she a carpenter? I mean, because names used to be the title of what they used to do, right?
I don't think she's Carpenter.
Like, before I became Mayor Watt, it was your trade, yeah. And so before I became Mayor Watt, I was Omer Boat Paddler. No? Okay, anyway. So Spotify experienced an outage today. You see the timey-wimey stuff? It's all really difficult. Anyway, a spokesperson told CBS Money Watch in an email, as of 11:45, Spotify is back up and functioning normally, and you can check Spotify status on Twitter for any other additional updates. Everybody's kind of moving into naming Twitter this. And I say, kiss my shiny metal butt. Anyway, earlier on Wednesday, Spotify said, and that's today, but earlier today, I guess I should say, Spotify said on social media that the company was working to address the problem, while spokesperson for the streaming music company denied the outage was caused by the other outages that also coincided at the same about time. Anyway, they said on Twitter that they were all clear. And you can go back to not being freaked out by not having music playing in the background.
I mean, that would be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. but they got it all back. You know, the music streaming service, which launched in 2008, has over 675 million users.
Is that all?
I got out of bed. All right, our last article is about Google. Google is sunsetting country-specific search domains because they have developed enough technology. It's sophisticated enough in their programming and capabilities that they no longer need them because they can get regional, localized results without having...
I mean, I guess I understand that if you're in the country, but what if it's one of those where it was chosen intentionally because of the domain extension?
It knows where you've been sleeping. It knows what browser you use.
Well, that's
It
true.
knows
It knows
which
everything about you.
rule you've... I'm sorry?
I said that's true. It knows everything about you.
It knows everything about you. It knows all of the internet rules too. So anyway, Omar Gallagher over at cnet.com put the article together. Google says it will still provide local search results while redirecting its country-level domains to google.com. This is kind of a reality hacker thing. So google.com is going to be eliminating sites like google.co.jp and google.ru for Japan and Russia. The company says it no longer needs so-called country code top-level domains to provide local search results, but it has to know where you are. So how does it do that? It's doing that based on network topology and IP addresses. It's geolocating you.
And that doesn't sound creepy at all.
Nope, not at all. Nope. So country code TLDs are going to be moving over to just google.com. So no matter where you are, all of your results are going to get spooled into .com. Behind the scenes, you could probably look at stuff and find out that you're still getting results that are tailored to that geographic region. Google's search business has been under scrutiny. Last year, the company's search business was declared a monopoly by the U.S. federal judge, and the Department of Justice basically probably is going to walk away after. Nobody's going to get prosecuted by DOJ. Not consumer abuses. Google may also be facing a $6.6 billion antitrust suit over search advertising in the UK, which has a much more robust consumer-facing legal system, I would say. Yeah, privacy and so on. They say not a huge deal for search engine users.
GDPR or GDPR.
Yeah, GDPR. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, a UK business seeing referrals via google.co.uk, those referrals will be replaced by just google.com. In any case, businesses notice the difference. Now they know why. It's no long. It doesn't matter now that you're on a google.co.uk search. You're going to be on google.com. Businesses, on the other hand, will still be bound. If you're in the UK, you have to have a google.co.uk presence, or not a google.co, but you're going to have a .co.uk domain.
Right. That's where I think it's going to get messed up, because there are some that don't match where they're located.
Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, it makes it regional. You can still have a .com if you can get it, but if you're going to operate solely in the UK and nobody has a mark that is confusingly similar and the mark doesn't extend into the UK or EU, the confusion exists, but because it's geographic.
Really. But if it's a major company, I think that's where it could have problems, or if it's a company that intentionally chose a different anyway.
Right.
There could be some variations.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of confusion that I think could manifest, but they're talking specifically about google.com being the funnel into all of the more complex Google-related domains are now just going to be google.com. Don't worry your head about all of these country codes. We're all one big happy family. So they say today's systems use multiple signals, IP, user history, behavior patterns to deliver hyper-personalized experience, says Elijah. We're witnessing the complete rethink of the web as AI continues to progress and perfect. The entire search business model, platforms as information gatekeepers monetized through ads, is racing towards obsolescence. Right. No. The entire search business model, aka platforms as information gatekeepers monetized through ads, is racing toward obsolescence?
I'm not sure about that.
Right. They're the founder of Spice VC, by the way. Said that relying on domains for localization is Internet 1.0 thinking and a relic of a time before AI. What does AI have to do with it?
I think they're thinking that AI is going to suddenly go, oh, you're looking for this one because, right, you're in this country or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't see that. I mean, AI does that, but it's not... Convergence is not really an AI thing. It's just maybe accelerating a little bit, but Google could have gotten rid of country code domains a long time ago. All they would have had to say, or actually kind of be burdened by, is telling the other countries, no, we're not going to use your country code for results. But that's what they're still getting. They're getting country-specific results. Now people just don't have any idea that it's a .ru. It's just going to be .com.
I think that's a problem because it might be misrepresenting which one it is, but also people may be clicking on links that they don't know what they are.
Yeah, you got to pay attention, folks. I don't think it's going to change the nature of the results, but it's definitely going to change the nature of where you perceive those results are coming from. It's not google.co.ru. It's google.com. But when you look at the source code of the results, it's coming from .co.ru. Just like if I look at the packets that are going to and from Twitch, you can still see Justin TV is part of the infrastructure still, Not that I've done that. Anyway.
That was oddly specific.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't looking at anything. Twitch. Hi. Anyway, that's it for folks. So we are going to sunset the show by going back to the front page of ohmtown.com. And we're going to rejigger everything, and we're going to kick this off as soon as humanly possible. So be sure to follow us on Twitch and YouTube so that we can notify you when we're starting the next episode, because we're going to shut down the time machine. The paired quantum singularities are going to separate, and we're going to be back in action in our regular time and place. Right, oh great sentient AI from on high?
That's right. Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for today's Non Sequitur News, but be back soon.
Very soon. Be sure to follow us. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.